Okay. So hopefully you guys have been making a bunch of tins in between all these walks, yeah? Walks and tins, yes? Yeah. And now this is where your landscape architecture comes in, right? Because some like people can just model per a plan, yeah? But you're also now going to have to solve all this stuff in 3D, right? Because look, if you're hopefully you're running into this issue and you're figuring it out. But look, so we have right here, if we're looking at this townhouse or apartment and we're coming down to this walk, that's 14.7 up to 15, right? 0.3 difference, right? So how many risers is that? 2, right? So that one's easy. But as we come up here, remember how we made a copy of these? Each one of these is the same one, just for ease, right? We just copied them up. But look, this one is 16 down to 15.4, right? So what's that drop? 0.6, right? So we're gonna have to go in and modify some of these guys, right? We could come in and actually, if we don't, we can actually come in and just make it unique, right? So we can come in, right click, make unique. And then we can come in, if we have to, we can add in a number of stairs coming down. We can even extend our wall out. But you also have to come in, remember, these are components within components, right? So if we do this, so we have to come in and actually select these components as well and click make unique, right? So then we could actually come in here, could push pull these out a little bit further if we needed to do a little bit more stairs. We can make them a little bit taller if we needed to, right? And then from there, just like we've done before on the other walks, this walk right is going to be impacting like right here on another sloped walk, right? So like in real life, we would actually level out a portion of this walk, right? But in the model, because we're going to use it to draw over, we're just going to just connect it up with the same way we've been making a tin with these, right? And these, yes? Cool. So pretty soon we should be able to keep going and then fill this whole thing out. Do you guys have some extra tins in there? How are we doing? We getting some? Yeah? Okay, cool. So now that's important because the next tool that we're going to use, what I want to make sure of is that you guys have this extension and that it's working. Can you guys click on extensions right up here? And then I believe, let me know if it says drop GC. You guys have that? Yes. You do, yeah? No? You do not? Okay. Well, then keep going. Go to Extensions Manager. Click on that. So extensions are like add-on programs that can like enable you to do more things with your with SketchUp, right? So once you get to this place, click on install extension, right? And then you're gonna navigate to this where it says files for students, SketchUp, Ruby scripts, okay? And it should have Smuster drop GC RBC.RBC, okay? So select that guy, hit open. Good. Okay, now, what did it give you? What did it say? Do we have to start SketchUp again, or did it say it's ready to use? Ready to use? So you'll know if it's ready to use if you click on extensions and it says drop GC right there. Is it there? Those who didn't have it before, is it there now? Yes, it is, right? Okay, awesome. Okay. So now what we can do with drop GC is bring in remember all these plant files that I had in CAD, all these CAD blocks? We can bring all of those in and actually drop them directly into our file, and they'll drop down on the terrain if we use drop GC, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to import it. We're going to pull the blocks above whatever tins we've made, and then we're going to drop it down, okay? Now what I want you to also do, let's go ahead and open up the, maybe you already have it open, but open up that, sorry. The final one, the SketchUp base 06, because we're going to pull some components from there. There's different ways of getting components. You can go to components warehouse, like online, and actually look around and find different components, right? That are either plants or people or buildings or all kinds of stuff. Yep, drop GC. Yep. So eventually, like with a little bit more time, you guys will get to here, right? Where you have all these nice, neat tins in between walks in the buildings, right? So the nice thing about that is then we could actually pull all of these CAD blocks that I've already made and drafted, right? Into here, and just like we did with the townhouses, right? We can actually populate it with a 3D model, right? Like a little component, and then the whole model will fill with that, right? So let's come, but it doesn't really matter. So it's only going to work wherever you have a tin that's already done, right? So does everybody have a tin just in the middle? Yeah. We all got there, right? Yeah. And maybe you have a couple out here. Yeah. Okay. If you don't sweat it. But what we'll do is when we bring in our cat, it's going to drop right here. Yeah. And it should drop right in here, and then we'll go in and we'll actually populate each one of those components and be able to fill the thing with some trees. Okay. Now, in theory, if we got into where we have all of this done, right, on the outside, then all of those plants would be able to drop in there. Yeah. So as you keep working at it, you can finish this model using the same skills we've been doing over and over, right? Essentially defining the area, building a tin, and then continuing to make those, right? So, okay. So then what we're going to do while we're in here, let's go to File Import. So we have a bunch of other walls up here, right? But don't worry about those. We're just going to come up here, go to File, Import. And I want you to pull in plants, okay? Import. Right? This is why you want to learn AutoCAD. Maybe it's the same in ArchiCAD. I'm not sure. But it's pretty seamless and they're pretty easy to create blocks in there, okay? So once you have that in there, all we need to do is select that block. This is oh yeah, we'll have a couple of things we can populate, okay? So once you snag that group, M for move, right? Now click. The one thing you do have to do with drop GC is it's going to drop down onto any terrain that you have below it, okay? So I think GC is drop ground cover. So it's gonna drop these things straight onto the ground, okay? So we just need to make sure that we are above any of the tins that we want to drop our things onto, okay? So I don't care how high it is above it, just make sure it's above it. Yes? Yeah. All right. Now, we have a lot of these things. Actually, you know what we could do? We could probably just fake it a little bit, but there's a fair amount of grade change. So let's do this. We're going to double click. Once you have it above there, double click inside that group. Yeah. And you could normally, if we had done all of the tins, I would just say select all of them and then hit drop GC and it'll drop them all down. But let's come in here and let's just, if we can, just select the ones that'll be right over the tin that we have completed. Yeah. So those are the ones, look, if you look at it from plan view, they should line up like that, right? Just like that original illustration we did, right? So we're selecting these, we're inside that group. That's what allows us to select them, right? And actually these two trees over here and these shrubbies, okay? And then we just go to tools, sorry, extensions, drop GC, okay? Do you see what it did? Yeah. So it dropped all of those plants right down onto the ground plane, okay? Which is really helpful because you don't have to individually move all those around, right? Good. Now, maybe we grab the rest of this group. For now, you can even just delete them. Yeah, and or do a save as real quick, because maybe as you're increasing more and more tins, you could actually drop them down. I don't know if you're going to continue to work on this model or not, but you're welcome to. It's good to get good at doing these things over and over. So for the rest of it, maybe we just select it. I'm selecting it from like almost an elevation perspective, like elevation side over here, yeah. And then I'm just going to right click over it and hit hide. Okay. You guys see that? Looks like food's here. Told you right when I got started, yeah. Okay, so I just hid that, yeah? Or you can delete it. I don't really care. Because you can always re-import it, right? Like you have that separately. All you do is file import and it'll bring it right back in, yeah? So sometimes I will import different parts of things and delete the rest of it, depending on what I'm building, right? It's really easy to import it. It's really easy to drop them in. So then watch. Now this is we're gonna do the same thing we do with the townhouses, right? I'm just gonna show you this real quick. We're gonna jump back over to this one, the final one, right? Make sure all of our trees are on. Okay. So look, I'm going to grab one of these ornamental trees. They're far, far better components that you can get online, right? But I'm going to grab this one. It's also small. I don't know how big your machines are. I can give you better ones if you have better machines, but I've done the workshop before and I've handed out really nice ones that I liked. And if your machine doesn't have a good graphics card, it's like, and it freaks up. So these are small, right? But look, I'm going to come into here. I'm going to grab this tree. See how it's a face me component? See that? It always turns towards the camera. Control C. Or jump back to this other model. I'm going to find this block in particular, right? I'm going to hit, before I go into it, I'm going to hit Control V. I'm going to try to get this guy right in the center. Yeah. There we go. We're close to the center. Right. So the reason I don't go into the block beforehand is because then you have like 50 of these things that you're trying to work with. It's really hard to see. So I get it right there. Then I go Control X, right? Then I double click inside this block that I had it just over. Edit what? You know, right? Yeah, right. And then what I'll do is I'll delete this line out here or I'll make it a hidden line. There's two ways of erasing in SketchUp, right? You can delete it with an eraser. Well, the other option is you hold down Shift and while you're holding down Shift, you erase and it just hides it. Okay. So if I turn off view hidden geometry, you don't even see it, right? Look. Oh, right. All right, now there's another way too. Watch this. Or should we go eat? Is food here? Is the water here too? Or the drinks? Yes or no? It is? Okay. Yes? So is half of it here or is all of it here? What do we know? Okay, Gatheri's gonna let us know. So we got, I know, easy now, easy now, easy. All right, so look, we got a couple more shrubs to do. Now I gave you guys some other shrubs, right? So look at this. We're gonna go File, Import, and I want you to go to Files for Students, SketchUp Components. Oh wait, not Import. What's that? Oh, it's empty? No. Okay, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. So we'll do the same thing we just did, right? Because most of the time, sometimes I'll have files that I have on like in a folder. A lot of times I just keep building from different models. And I'm like, oh, I remember I did palm trees that I really liked in this one. So I'll go grab that palm tree and cobble it together. So let's go back in here. I want you to grab, see this big shrub? Go in here, keep going till you actually get down to the component, yeah? Should look like that. Okay. Look how many of those components are all around this thing, yeah? Because I did the same thing to make this model as I did the other one. Now, ready? What are we going to hit? How are we going to copy it? Control C. You could cut it if you wanted to. Control X, whatever. Control C, we're going to copy it. Jump back into here. And that'll be the larger shrub, right? So watch. Control V. And then you try to get it close on maybe one of these that you can easily line it up with, right? Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. You got to make sure that it's actually lining up with these circles. Yes? You can M for move. You can drop it down a little bit into the ground, right? Now, watch. Here's one thing. You guys watch this real quick. So let's say that this shrub is too short. I don't like it, right? While I've selected that group, I can hit S for scale, and it brings up all these grips, right? See all those, right? So a lot of times I'll be like, oh man, this shrub needs to be, right now I think it's right at 1 meter, but maybe it needs to be a little bit higher, yeah? So you can do it, you can actually type in an exact scale if you want, or you can just kind of pull it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more like you want. We good? Continue. We good? Here? Oh, okay, right? So look, that one's there, yeah? And you can do the same thing, like if you do the corner, watch this. If you click on the corner, then you hold down Control, it's going to do it from the center, okay? So that way, all you gotta do is get it lined up, and then you can change the scale if you need to, right? Then if you want it taller or shorter, you can do it that way, yeah? Let's get it somewhere close. Control X, double click into that one you were just working with, edit, paste in place, right? And then I'm just gonna hide that line by freezing it, or by, there we go. Right? Isn't that nice? Now hit save after you start doing all this stuff, yeah? And then the cool thing is about these yeah, then you can start turning on your shadows. And once you get a semi 3D object in there, you can start to get some neat shadows getting cast off of some of my walls are above me, but that's a little odd, right? And then you know what I like to do? It's if I go in and I define all the textures and the colors, I go edge, oh sorry, view, edges, edge style, and I turn off profiles. And then if I do all my materials correctly, I turn off my edges, right? So it can really start to look almost like a 3D Max model, yeah? With like half the time, isn't that cool? So that's drop GC, right? If you're working in CAD, it's an easy way to bring in all your stuff. And you can drop it down like that, okay? I'm gonna hit save, I'm gonna pause this recording. And let's go. Some of this I'm just gonna run through, right? Just so you're like, whoa, I got to learn that. And then I'll show you how to do it. And then you can watch this video to get it. Yeah. Okay. So, right. We can do a couple more of these trees, right? Do a couple more. We're going to do this guy. Let's jump over here. All right. Now, I remember, oh, we do need some palm trees. Wouldn't that be nice to have some palm trees? We have some on the side, but so I'm going to go inside this group, grab that component, Control C, jump back in here. Control V to get it close to the middle, right? Might need to be a little bit wider. See how it doesn't come out the full width of the canopy? So S for scale. If I click here, as long as I hold down Control, it'll lock it in the middle. Isn't that nice? So make it maybe a little bit wider like that. So, and then what? Control X. Hey guys, wait. Shh. You can chew as loud as you need to, but don't talk too much so you guys can hear me. Yeah. Edit, paste in place for that guy. There's only 2 of them right here, but there's more of them over here once we finish doing all the tins over there, right? I'm going to erase the edge of this. You can either erase it fully or you can hide it by holding down Shift and then using your eraser. Okay. Same for this little line work down here, right? We can actually erase, hide all of this too. So we don't have a bunch of lines out there. Okay. And then let's do one more. We'll do this guy. This is kind of like a little, what is that? Duranta? Maybe. It's kind of a flowering, it's more of, it could be Duranta. It could be, what's the plant that's taking over the world? Lantana Camara, right? Unstoppable. All right, so I'm going to copy that, Control C, jump back over here, grab one of these. Oops, before I go into it, I like to edit, paste, put it close to the middle. Okay, get it close to the middle on one of them, Control X, edit, paste in place. Okay. So look, now we're starting to get some shrubbery. Yes. Yes. Now components are really easy. I mean, there's lots of component modeling stuff you can look for, or you can also just learn how to do it. I would love to show you how to make this trellis that's in this one, but I'll have to come back next year to show you that one. Okay. Oh, there isn't a trellis. Should be pergola, right? There it is. Now you can make this by just, just like we did the wall, you could import that. You could come up here and then you could copy these with a center point and you can go copy them all the way around. Okay. So that's how I made that. But you can also just copy it from this model into there since I've already made it for you. Yeah. But the main thing I want to show you is a sweet, sweet ramp, right? That's where the real money is in site grading. Yeah. I don't know what it's like here in Kenya, but in America, engineers, like civil engineers, make so much more money than landscape architects. Because they're engineers. Yeah, I mean, they do a lot more math. Also, within the scope of civil engineers, there's a lot more technical stuff that they're responsible for getting right. And if they don't get it right, then bad things could happen, right? Like things could flood, walls could fall, people could get crushed, right? It's like, so that's why there's it's stricter, it's harder for them to get licensed, and then they have to have a stamp. landscape architects can do, the cool thing is we can do some of the civil site engineering stuff, a lot of it. But then we also can do like a lot of the horticulture and all the plant stuff too. So, but yeah, but this is kind of, I always say that like, site grading is really what sets us apart as landscape architects versus just like landscapers, right? I mean, both are good, but being able to manipulate terrain and stuff like that is a pretty big part of what we do. Okay. Hidden geometry. So you see this guy. This one I actually made using the follow me command. It's a couple of ways. There's actually many ways of doing a curved slope ramp, but I'm going to show you one of them. There's a couple of extensions you're going to need to get. Okay. You already have drop GC. There's another one called Curvature. Okay. Yep. Curvature. If you guys send me a message in that group me, I'll name all these things for you. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be on the video, but I can type them out so you can easily find them. Okay. There's also one called Shape Bender, Chris Fulmer. These are free, right? And then Frito 6, Frito tools. Yeah, Frito's awesome. He makes so much cool stuff. Like I think most, if not all of it's free. Awesome. So what we're going to do, we're in here, right? So if we look at our CAD, right, I actually drafted this. I already drafted this ramp, right? Oops. So all we have to do is import it. Okay. But then we have to figure out how to model it in 3D. And that's when it's going to get real fun, right? So file, import. Let's do the ramp. Import. Lows, right? Curvature. Curvature. Now look, this thing, the ramp, if you guys can see it, I'm going to go ahead and make it face. Oops. My image keeps getting in the way. There it is, right? Now, one of the things that's a little bit tricky, this is a closed polyline, so I could just grab it, and hopefully if I clicked tools, make faces, it would make a face, yeah? Right? So that's, now, there's a couple ways to do this, but I'm going to do it this way first. I'm going to move this up. This is not how I would do it, but it is an option, okay? I want to show you how many different ways you can do ramps or models. So I'm going to actually move it directly up so it hits about right here, right? And you're going to see, look, where did the ramp go? Yeah, it's underneath because I have to adjust my grading to make this work, don't I? I'm gonna have to change the grading on this whole slope to get this walk in there. Yeah, it's also currently just 2-dimensional. It doesn't slope at all. You can see right there, it's just flat. Yeah, and I need it to come up to this height, right? It needs to come up here. If we look at it in plan view, you guys can see it right here. Yeah. So it needs to come from this plaza at 16.5 and go down to about 15.1, maybe a little bit lower because this is sloping down, right? So it needs to drop a fair amount to get down to there, right? Now look, we're going to come into here. And what you could do, if you just wanted, like if you were just doing a hand graphic and you didn't really care about getting your grading perfectly correct, you could use the drape tool, okay? So we could just move this above the tin we want to drape it on. I'm going to turn off my townhome so you guys can see this. Okay. So I'm going to move this guy up so it's just above, right? Just like we did with drop GC, right? It's going to drop it down on whatever surface is below us, okay? So here's this. I haven't changed the grading at all, right? So you're going to see what happens if I don't change the grading. This thing's just going to lay down on there and look weird, right? So, but I've done this before. Sometimes if I'm doing a big master plan and I just need to drop something on there so I can draw it, or I just want to see kind of where it lands. But most of the time, this is not how I would do this. But I like to show you different ways of doing it. So we would select this guy. I can't remember if I need to be in that. Might actually need to be inside that group. So I'm going to grab this guy, cut. I'm going to go inside where this group is. Edit, paste in place. Right? And then we should be able to click drape. And now it's saying, if you look down here, select the mesh on which to drape. I'm going to click this one. And then just like that. Look at this. I can actually select that. Then if I wanted to, I could actually drop a color on there. So this is helpful if I just want a really quick visualization, right? You okay? It's okay. Right? So look, but look at that. Woohoo! Right? It's like a roller coaster, yeah? Now, if you ever walk out on site and you see somebody build a walk like that, if it's your project, you better tell them. See how curved it is and how lumpy it is, right? It might be kind of hard to see how steep that is, but look at that. I mean, that's like, right? I mean, you're gonna be walking like this, right? And holding on here. Maybe holding on to the tree, okay? But right. So not ideal, but using the drape command, if I just wanted to really quickly know kind of where that walk is, I could lay a piece of trace over there and probably make it look a little bit better. Yeah. So that's one way of putting it on there. It's not the ideal way. It's not the way I would do it, but I want to show you a couple of ways of doing this. Okay. So there's that, right? Otherwise, we've got this guy. Right now, I'm going to go into the component, but first I want to find out. We're going to use a couple of different extensions here. First, I'm going to move this down. I'm going to do it to the midpoint of this walk. We're going to go straight back down and make sure I'm clicking on this walk, okay? So now I need to know, all you grading folks, I need to know the vertical distance that this whole ramp's going to go down, yeah? So look, I just pulled it down to the base. That's going to be the lowest point, right? So then in SketchUp, I can just come over here and I could just measure, tape measure, T for tape measure. I could click here, go straight up, hold down Shift, and I could measure it down from like right up here because it's going to connect, okay? Now, a lot of times when I'm using the measure command, I don't actually click. I just read the number because if I click it, it puts this little dashed line out here, which I don't like. So it's 1.42 is our vertical, okay? So watch why that's important because we're going to actually use that. I need to write that down. 1.42, could somebody remember it? 1.42 meters. I'll write it down too. That's the total drop that walk needs to make, right? Now we could actually calculate the slope, but when I first designed it top to bottom, it should be right at 5%. Yeah. If we took the total length of that walk, divided 1.42 by that total length, it would give us gradient, right? Yeah. You want to do it? Should we do it? Yeah. We'll do it quick. I already got it right here. Look, we'll just use this guy. We'll do the center line just to keep it easy. Okay. So LI total length is 32.88. What's the slope of that walk? 32.88. The vertical drop is 1.42. You guys know how to do that? You better. 1.42. That's our rise, right? Divided by, what is it? You were so confident on the first one. Is it 33.88? 30. Wait, do you know that? Did you know that, or you're just agreeing with me? Ah, you are correct. I was okay. Look at that. A leisurely 4.2%. Right? I mean, grandma can walk down that nice and easy, right? Somebody in a wheelchair can make it up. Solid, right? We're designing inclusively for all kinds of folks. All right, so we know it's a good slope. Let's come over here and do this real quick. It's 4:30. We got to wrap this up. So watch. I'm gonna go inside this group and start working with it a little bit. I'm gonna hide the rest of the model just so you guys can see this, okay? Now, there's a couple of wait, I'm going to delete that face because we don't need it, okay? Now watch, what I'm going to do is this great, this is the Frito tools. You can get this one called Curvature, okay? Curvature, right? But before we use Curvature, you have to make sure that these lines that were imported are actually seen by SketchUp as a curve, okay? Because right now, when they come in, sometimes they're just segments. See these little segments, right? So I'm going to triple click on that, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to hit this little button. This is the other extension you need to get called Weld. Okay, it's also free. Weld is so you got Weld, Drop GC, Frito 6, Curvature. All right, so I'm going to weld that. Oops, did it work? Yep. So now it's one polyline sort of thing, right? Double click, triple click on that guy, same thing. Weld, right? Now I'm going to select that one, control, and select this one. Yeah. Then I'm going to come up and hit Curvature. Now, what's the top height that we need? What's the vertical change we need? 1.42. With confidence. 1.42. Oops. What? 1.42. Yeah. Top height. Base height. I'm just going to make the base height 0. This is hard to read, but and then you can also make it into, you can generate it into a group, right? I think I'm going to go ahead and, I think I'm already in a group, so I don't think I need to do that, okay? Boom. Right? Oh my, you see that? Take that, civil engineers, right? Okay, now, we don't need all the stuff underneath, right? All we need is that top. I just want these top lines, and I want to make a, yeah, I want to make a face with it, right? But it's not coplanar. It's all tilted. So what am I going to use? Sandbox. Boom. Right? Now, look, it made a bunch of that ugly stuff, right? Like it does, because it doesn't know that I don't want it to connect that to there. I just want it to connect that across there, right? Okay. But we'll just delete them. Yep. Hidden geometry. Grab your eraser. Oops. Make sure you're in the group, though, right? Pull down erase, start dragging that. Right, now look, there's a lot of stuff down in there, right? Got to clean this up. It's coming along, right? Look at that. Okay, so it takes a minute, but watch. So now, here's some foreshadowing for you. Now that we have this beautiful surface, right? How are we going to make our, how are we going to make it sit down in the land? Huh? We could drape it, but that's, I don't even know if we could drape this. We're going to go in and we're going to make a brand new tin using the edge of this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because the other tin doesn't reflect it, right? Look at this. Oh. Fairly clean, right? You in geometry, look at that. Would you look at that? Now, watch this. All we really need, we don't need that face. All we need is one edge, right? Look at this. We're going to deselect this, right? We're going to use that to create a new tin to the existing tin we already have, right? This is where the magic happens. This is where you, oh, look at that. Woo! Right? Now that's pretty cool. See that? Now it's still wrong. Look, right? It's still floating out there. Yeah. So what are we going to do? You know, I already told you 10 to 10, right? So watch, I'm going to copy this guy, Control X. I'm actually going to go into this thing and go edit You know. Uh-oh, but look, it turned green because I colored that whole component green. So, yeah, there's a couple ways I would do this. You can always come in and do a different, there we go, right? Right. Okay, but now we got to figure out how to make another 10, don't we? Oh, it's easy. You guys know how to do it. You've already been making 10s, right? So watch. So, well, what we need in order to make a 10, you need lines defining the whole thing that are in the same group, right? So watch. What I'm going to do, the easiest way that I like to do this is I'm going to come into this 10. Well, first I'm going to hit File Save because I got a lot of work into this thing, right? View, Component Edit. We'll take that off so I can see this. But I'm also going to turn off my trees and my shrubs so I can work on this thing in peace. Now, look, if we come all the way into this guy, I can actually just grab my eraser and start shredding this thing, right? No, it took so long for us to do that. I know. I know. Just wait till you see how long it's going to take us to do this selection now, right? Oh, actually, look, I don't need to delete all of that because look, I could probably make this 10 work from here down, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? But this one I can't, right? This is all got to get erased. So I can make a 10 from here down to this line, right? Bingo. Bingo. Now, wasn't that worth waiting until 4 o'clock for lunch? Okay. I think we're gonna have dinner about 12:30. Yeah, yeah. 6 a.m. It's kind of a breakfast sort of thing, you know? Chips for breakfast. Yeah. Okay. Now look. Actually, you know, I'd probably delete this one too. But then inside here, there might actually be, if there is, yeah, so those lines are still there. See how I selected that? It's still blue. So watch. Oh, but look, this guy's still in a group, isn't it? It's in a group, yeah? So I can't actually trace that. I can't connect. I can't make a face onto a group, right? If I try that, it will not work well. So if I like click this guy and I hit from contours, it won't work, right? So the only thing I need is this line for the top side to make a 10, right? I need to define this area through here, and I need this, right? So it's the same thing you've been doing, just a little bit more complicated. Let me see if I can turn my wall to. This one's still here. It's gone. It's gone. Oh, you know what? This one was actually incorrect anyway. You're out of here. Right? Yep. Now I could keep them, but watch what I'm going to do. So I'm going to need to make sure is that, let's see if that line's there. Yep, that one's there. But these guys are not. So I'm just going to use the arc command, A for arc, click there, and then drop that right there. So then I have something I can select, right? Yeah. Got that. Got that. I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and keep that little part. Right. Remember all this work we did over here? Is that still helpful? Yes. Ah, but look, this one will not work because it's going to create a 10 all the way down to there, right? So the easiest thing to do is to just draw a line right where I want to break it. So I'm going to go to here and go straight up right there. And then come back to there, okay? Deselect that line. I just want that one, that one. But look, the main issue is, so I can select all of that top side. That's looking good. I can get this one over here. I got to get over there. Now watch. This is the part I want to teach you that's new. Watch this, guys. So if I turn off my hidden geometry, I can double click into this group, right? Now I could come in and I could select the edge just like this, little by little, right? Remember that same thing I did on that curve the other time? If I select the whole thing, if I triple click, right? And then I just deselect all the stuff I don't want, right? Control Shift, deselect, deselect, deselect. Okay. You're out. You're out. You're out. Yeah. Deselecting all this. We don't want that in there. Now, but it's still not in the same group, is it? So what am I going to do? How can I get it to be in the exact same location in that other group? Control C, right? Then I'm going to go into the group I want to paste it in. Edit. Yeah, let's do it again. Ready? Edit. Yes. And look, it even comes in selected for me. It's already blue. Like SketchUp knows that I want to use it, right? It's trying to help me. All right, then we're going to we'll click on that one. We want that one. We want that one. We want that one. That one. If there isn't one, watch. If we come over here and there's a section where we don't have. So that comes all the way around. Oh, I missed a spot right there. Get that. Right? Now over here, I don't know if there's actually a line. There isn't. So, but look, even while it's still selected, I could draw a line, click, 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 hold down Shift or Control, and then are you guys ready? Drum roll, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From Sandbox. Yeah. Oh, wait, what? But we knew that was going to happen, right? We got to clean it up a little bit, right? But look at all that. Look at this great slope right here. That's what we want, okay? So we'll just go in there and we'll just grab the eraser, right? Go in and clean it up like we always have to, right? Look at this. You're going to like this. Take that, civil engineers. Yes. Okay. Now, what do you think? What do you think? Not so bad, right? It's not so bad. We got to clean up here a little bit. SketchUp's doing the best it can. Yeah. Okay. So look, that's pretty close. Well, we can clean up in here. You can get as clean as you want it to be, right? Oops, too much. Oops, too much. Just those two right there. All right. That's pretty good. Look, see? You like it. You think it's good, right? It's pretty nice. Now, but remember, we got to do one other thing here. You guys remember how to do this? We turn the wall back on. You said the wall, because look, that's still, now it's even steeper than it was before, right? That's like a almost a 1-to-1 slope. What should we do? What command do we use? Remember?
Yeah.
That little pusher. Yeah, what sound was I making with it yesterday? Yeah. So we're gonna start with, I need to get it to work. Hey, work. We gotta be inside that group to make sure we can get it to work. Then we grab that. It's set to 10 meters, but that's not what we want. Ooh, that's too big. Right? That's too big. Let's do 5 meters. Enter. Too big. 3 meters. Enter. Ooh, that's gonna look at that. That's gonna be all right, huh? Click once, drop it down just a little. Oh, I don't want it to touch the bottom ones though. 2 meters. 1 meter. Why is it grabbing those bottom ones? There we go. That's what we want, right? Now let's do, wait, we now need to go back to 6 meters. I know. Hey guys, we're wrapping up. I know. So happy. Chicken is flowing in the veins. It's Friday. It's Friday night. All right, we'll do that like that. Ooh, that's gonna do something real nice. Ooh. Okay, so it's a little weird. We could make it better if we had a moment, okay? Oh, maybe your grader had been drinking. I don't know. Turn the wall back on. Whoa. Went down a little too far. No problem. We could fix it, or if I like the slope that I now have, I could just drop my wall down a little bit farther. Yeah. Look, see, you're walking this path, right? And there's some nice shrubbies right there. Walking along this path, 4%. There's some Ruellia right here. Ruellia. Oh, bird of paradise right next to it. Okay, good. Now look, this one down here is a little trickier because look, I can't make this work here, right? Like this is underneath. That's going to be a really weird slope. Here to there. Yeah. So I'm going to have to change, going to do a little bit of design of evolution down here, right? So what I could do, I could make the 10, watch. If I delete, let me get into that 10. I could erase this. Hold on, easy. Right? I could erase this. But then how am I going to make it so there's actually a little bit of flat spot down there? Yeah, I could make another curve, right? I just redesign with a curve, right? So let's get a little bit of context because your theory needs a tiny little baseball field down here, right? Just a little one. Yeah. So we could just do an arc over here and watch. Why don't we try this? We'll go from this point maybe over to this one. And then we can put it out. Right? To right there. Control X. Now I'm going to erase all this. Get out of here. Right? Edit. Edit. Yes. Yes. Okay, so I think I did it correctly. I hope I did. About to find out, aren't we? Surely. Sometime tonight we will. Only 2 more hours, guys. I only got 2 more hours worth of content, okay? SketchUp said they wouldn't pay me unless I got through everything. So settle in. The funny thing is they're not really paying me. Well, they gave me a bit of a stipend. But I was like, I'm going to Africa, right? Like, it's pretty far. They did pay for my ticket though. That was nice. And my food. Yeah. I stayed at a cafe or a Hotel Verona. Whoa. It's like down the road. It was all right. And then after the workshop yesterday, I was like, oh, so hot, tired. I was like, oh, I'll go take a nice quiet dip in the pool. What was yesterday's holiday? What was it? It was Madaraka. So I mean, we're talking like hundreds of people up there, like kids, like 100 kids jumping in the pool. It was awesome. Anyway, let's make this last 10 and then we'll call it good on 10s, and then I'll open it up to some questions, okay? Are you ready? 1 more 10. one more 10, right? That's the spirit. But we do need it. This isn't going to work right here. That is not going to work, right? We're going to try to make a 10 from there to there. It's going to look hideous. All right, so we're going to erase that. We're probably just going to go all the way back to that edge. You're out. Now, outside of this, you might be able to grab that. Where is that line? Anyway, I'm just going to redraw it because, but the main thing that I want is this line for this guy, right? Remember how to do it? We click all the way in there, select all this stuff, and then deselect. So that's Control and Shift held down. And we're not grabbing that side, we're grabbing this side. Caleb, is there a faster way to do this? Now, there are other extensions that are better at just dropping in, like there's like Road Builder. Caleb, have you ever used Road Builder? That's the one you were showing me, right? Yeah. Do you have a lot of control on slope with that one? Somewhat, huh? Yeah, so this one, you know, this is a pretty good process. So Control C for that. I'm going to come back into here, and then I'm going to hit Edit. Paste it, please. Right? Yeah. Then we're going to draw some lines there. Ooh, that's going to be a little funky right there. We're going to do it anyway. Oh, man, guys. Getting close. Oh, except for this spot. Hold on now. Gotta do the same thing over here. We got to intersect this. Oh. All right, here it is. The last 10 of the day. Oh, wait. Oh. Woo. Man, that was close, guys. I would have had to reselect everything, right? Now, there's a fast selection tool. Is that what it's called? Selection tools? Selection toys. All right, so write that one down too, because I've seen it. I haven't used it, but you can actually just run your mouse along the line, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's real nice. You got to pay for that one or no? Yeah, that's what you want. You want the free ones. But even if you have to pay for them, they're only like, sometimes they're like $1, which honestly, if you think about the time, I know. Yeah. But if you think about the time it's saving you, it's like totally worth it. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Now we could do it in Topo Shaper. That one's a little cleaner. Nah, 3, 2, 1. Oh, my, huh? Look, that man's gonna be playing baseball down here, right? Look at it. That is all right. And then you got this nice slope over here coming up. Uh-oh. A little cleanup. Yep. Clean it up. That's good enough for now. How about that, huh? Okay, so the end of the workshop, I like to show what I was hoping to do is have some time to draw a perspective because I printed some perspectives, but it's 5 o'clock already. Yeah. It's the last day, huh? Should I draw? Because watch. Oh, I didn't show you guys layout. Let me show you layout real quick, okay? Yeah, because I can send you a drawing video. I have a lot of recorded drawing videos. Like I've already traced this one. The only difference would be is that I use markers to render it. So I could share that video and you'll have one that shows there's a couple of key things that I'm drawing in perspective that I want you to think about. Okay. So you have to bug me on the WhatsApp to send the other video. Yeah. Actually, you have to bug me to send all the videos. But I want to show you the layout because it's really nice. Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, you want me to do a cross section and do it at a scale? That's generally what I use it for. Actually, I've used it for all different kinds of things. Oh man, you know what? Listen to this. I just remember this when I lived in Uganda. This guy who did a ton of marketing at this really big marketing firm somehow heard about me, and I connected with him, and he was hiring me to. And he was doing this Airtel thing, and he wanted like right in one of the main roundabouts in Kampala. He wanted this giant hand holding a phone, like a sculpture. So I modeled this thing, and I had it. I was like, "Oh, it'd be so cool to show you guys that." I don't think they ever built it because I was like, "Wow, this is pretty ugly." I didn't tell him that until he paid me, but I was like, I don't know if we should do this. I was like, can I change it? And he did. He let me. He was open to like, oh yeah, like what do you think? And so I kind of did like this more of a sculptural thing versus like, like mega hand. I don't know, but maybe it would have done maybe what it needed to do, right? You'd have been like, oh yeah, meet me at the Airtel roundabout, right? Or the giant hand roundabout. Yeah, with a giant phone on it. Yeah. It's like towering over. Yeah. Anyway, SketchUp. I've used it for a lot of different things. Oh, I want to show you layout, right? That's it. All right, let me turn this back on. Let me turn this back on. Actually, what I'm going to do here real quick on this guy. Oh, buildings. Okay. So look, that's not bad. Look. Oh, you guys are really close. If you and so before I'm going to try to get you this video quickly because you guys it's fresh in your mind. You just did it, right? So hopefully you can keep moving forward and do what I just did. Yeah. Because I mean the only new thing that I did was I used the curvature, right? But you saw how fast it is. Like it's so good. So well, it's fast because I had it set up nicely in CAD, right? But you could draw your curves in SketchUp too. But most of the time, if I'm doing drafting, I do it in CAD because it's just easier to get it correct. And then I import it. Okay. So, but the main thing that is how to manipulate tins, right? Because you can go in and change them and set up the edges. And then if I needed to change some of this, I could come in and delete just a little bit of it. And then if I deleted it too long ago, I could just grab these edges, right? Boom, from contours, right? Now it makes it a group, so I could explode it, and then the whole thing's one group. Okay, so that's the main thing I wanted you to know how to do is to make tins and then manipulate a little bit. Okay, but I also will show you real quick. I'm going to jump into this model because it has more stuff in it. Yeah. Now, I want to show you how to set up scenes. Listen real quick, guys. So setting up scenes, watch. This is how you actually set up. So here's the section that I did. It's a scene. No, well, I'm going to pull it into layout. That's the cool thing. So layout is a separate software. But what you do, it's almost like in CAD. I'm sure you guys have viewports in CAD where you make like an A3 piece of paper, yeah? And then you have a viewport or a window. What's it called? I don't know. It's a window that looks in the model space. And then you can size that to different scales, right? So same thing in layout. You can go directly from here, yeah? So I've got all these different ones over here. Look at this one. So we're going to draw this one as a perspective. And I have one that I'll send you the video for. But anyway, so the nice thing, well, let me show you how to set up a scene though. Watch real quick. I'm going to go into this guy and say, well, I've completed the model, at least going this way. I want to show the client so far what I've got, right? So I'm going to take this, see that little person? It looks like a little penguin person. It's in the sun over there. I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. And then do one of these. Hang on. New in 3 seconds. So this guy right here, there's a couple of these. All right. So look, this guy, get out of here. So look, this guy, hey guys, real quick. So this guy right here, it sets a camera up or a view at the height of a person, okay? So it's really helpful. Why is that helpful? Yeah, it's awesome. Eye level, right? I mean, it's easy to do these big aerial views, which are awesome, but you want to show your client when you're walking into this space, here's your view. You see this view, right? And so it'll actually tell you eye height from wherever you drop it. So it's super helpful, right? This little eyeball one, you can move around, right? You can look around different views. This one, you can actually walk through the model, right? You can kind of do like a little walk, which is kind of cool. And then this is the section. I'm going to show you how to make a section, okay? And it's super helpful because then you can make a section. If you've already made the model, you can make as many sections as you want to out of there. Then you can export them to layout and then scale them to what you want them to be. Cool? So these are the, I'll keep this up. I should be able to pull it back up, but we'll dock this back over here. Okay. Oops. There's that. Boom. Okay. So watch. So here, I'm going to make a scene. Watch this. I'm going to grab that little man. I'm going to drop. I'm going to click right there. Look, that's eye level. It tells me the eye height. Well, it's 18.8 meters because I'm off the ground that much, right? In the actual model, we moved everything up, like, right? So you can kind of figure out if it's at the correct height. And then I can actually look around. Ooh, wow. Is that Ruelia? Right? So you can kind of set this. Now watch, once I get a good scene or a good view that I like this one. It shows topography. It doesn't show that I haven't completed the model, right? So, and a lot of times based on what views I'm sending to the client, I'll only have enough time to finish enough of the model to show that view, right? So I'll work both ways. If I know which view I want to capture, then I'll drop this and then watch, you come up here and you go to your default tray. There should be a little drop down that says scenes, okay? And you hit the plus button, plus save scene as new style. You can get into the styles of the scenes. We're not going to do that. We're going to create a scene, okay? Now let's do another scene. You guys are going to like this, right? Let's do another scene as we're walking down, maybe to right here, right? You're kind of experiencing this walk. I want another scene right here. I'm going to right click over the little scene tab and just hit add. Yeah. So now look, I can go back to here where the click of a button, you're there. Then you're flying through a tree to there. Right. And then we'll come over here and we'll do one this way from the bottom. We'll turn them around and have them look up this way. Yeah. But I'm going to show it just looking at the ramp. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm going to show the client like the ramp, right click, add. Okay. Now, the neat thing is, listen, you can set up a bunch of scenes and then you can actually run an animation that will go, it will create a small movie file going through all your scenes. Yeah. So then you could easily send it to a client and say, hey, here's your entry. You come down through here and watch. Let me see. I'll do that in a minute. I want to show you the layout first, but that's called an animation. Okay. So that's, you animate your scenes. Some of these are just keywords. If you know the keywords, you just Google them and there's great tutorials on them, right? So that's creating an animation from your scenes. Yeah. So you go to file, export. You have a couple of options here. You got 3D model, you've got 2D graphic, and then you got animation. Okay. So if you click on animation, there's a bunch of settings you can go to that will talk about how many seconds you pause at each scene, right? It's kind of neat. So you can make like a real simple video. It's like a fly through. Yeah. Or a lot of times I use 2D graphics because I'm gonna make this, and if I export it, it becomes a JPEG, and then I can use that in. Do you guys use InDesign to make documents? Exactly. What's that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, Photoshop. InDesign's really good for documents though too, right? Yeah. So either way, you can make JPEGs from each one of these. That'll be file, export, 2D graphic. It brings up all this stuff. You can do that. Okay. But watch. Here's one other thing I want to do. We're gonna make a section. Okay. See this little button, that other button I was just telling you about, it's this one right here. That looks just like a little section call out, right? You know that. So watch, we're gonna grab this. Pay attention to this, guy. It's a little tricky. So look, now it's asking me what face do I want to cut the cake on, right? Where do you want to drop the knife through the model? So I'm going to float it over here. I'm not holding down any buttons. I'm just going to say, let's do a section through here, right? It's called section 1. Sure. Now see that orange thing? That's the section. That's where the knife goes through the model. Yeah, or the knife goes through the cake, right? So watch this. I'm going to select that. I'm going to right click, and then it gives me the option that says align view, right? Align view, yes. But look, it's still in perspective, so it looks weird in terms of a section. So I have to go over here. I have to go to camera and go to parallel projection, okay? Instead of perspective, I'm doing parallel projection, okay? Now I can zoom in, as long as I only pan. See, now I got a section, right? Okay? See how I did that? Now I've made this, and now if I accidentally orbit, right, it's not going to be lined up, right? But what do? I just come back out, select that guy, oops, right click, align view again, okay? And as long as I've got view, parallel, or camera parallel projection, then it's going to be a section, a clean section, okay? So I'm going to right click on scene 3 and make scene 4 by hitting add, okay? The reason scenes are helpful is because then when I go into layout and I place the model in there, I can select the scene for my window, right? Or my viewport. What do you guys call it in ArchiCAD? Is it a viewport? It's a window? A viewport. It is a viewport, right? Okay. 4th years, you guys should know that. Okay, so watch this. Now let's go open layout. So layout looks almost like SketchUp Pro, right? In terms of its little icon. So layout. Now, you can get more and more into layout and do a lot of really cool things with it. I'm going to show you the basics, and then you can run with tutorials, and get more into it. It's going to ask me for a template, right? So I need a file. Oops. Should ask me for a template right off the bat. Welcome to layout. Yep. All right. So we want A3 landscape. Yeah. So I'll click on that. So here's my sheet, right? There's my page. So you've got once again, you have a default tray over here, right? You can do all this. There's all kinds of great things you can do in here. But the main thing I want to show you is there's one of these down here that says SketchUp model, okay? That's the one we're going to work in, okay? Because the neat thing about this is that it links directly to your SketchUp model. So I'll set up my layout document. I'll go in there and I'll be changing all kinds of stuff in the model as it's evolving. But my section, that cut will always be there, right? So even if I've updated things, I can easily go to that section cut and then bring it directly in live, okay? As long as I update the reference, right? Do you guys use references in AutoCAD or ArchiCAD? So a reference is like a separate file that like I could work in like an image file, or another, like the civil engineer might give you a file, and then all I do is copy that in. Now I can't change that file in there, but if I change it over here, I can update the reference and it'll bring all that information in. Okay, so that's a reference. Well, watch, we go file, insert, okay? Now we gotta navigate to, where is that file? Where did I save it? This guy, file, save. Make sure you save it before you import it. Yeah, so this guy is file, save as. Where is it? Desktop, JQuat workshop. Okay. Got it. You guys call it, do you say JQuat or JK? JK UAT? Yeah, JQuat's so much easier. Yeah. Well, that's my vote, but that's what I'm saying. All right, so layout, watch this. So I got to find that JQuat workshop. See, modified. I need most up-to-date model. There it is. Watch. So I'm navigating to the SketchUp model. Now watch this. What it's going to do, it's going to put a viewport, it's going to put a viewport on the page, yeah? And then it's gonna default to the last scene that I made, okay? But it doesn't matter because I can change it. So I'm gonna hit open. Depending on the size of your model, it might take a minute to reference it, okay? Look at this, right? Now, a couple of key things you need to know, right? It doesn't have a current, so it has a current scale, but it's not a real one, okay? It's like, it's just whatever it is. So I can actually come in here and I can select a scale. 1 to 100. Now, look, there's another key thing you have to click on. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Let me do a new one. Just want to zoom in on this so you guys can see some of the settings over here, okay? So look, this is when you're in the SketchUp model, right? There's your scenes, right? So the cool thing is you can drop down here and select any one of your scenes for that window, yeah? Now, the only one that we set up to actually be scalable and actually have a scale is that one section, right? Because the other ones with perspectives, they don't really have a scale, but you can do a drop down here, do scene 1, and then just size it on your page, right? It won't have a scale. But scene 4 is an actual section, right? So it's gonna have a scale if you want it. So then you can actually come down here and you can select this, get your scale. Now look, this is key. Preserve scale on resize. If I start moving the viewport or window around, if I don't have that checked, it's gonna resize the scale. I'll have to come back in and do it. But if I check that, if that box is checked, then I can move the window around and it'll keep that same scale that I set it at. Does that make sense? Okay, so we'll come in here. That one's checked. So watch, then I can pull this over. Full length. Oh man, that's nice, right? Now look, you can actually click inside the model and move it over, but I find it easier just to move the window to do what I want it to do. So I want the window to end there. Oh, and if I had a 10 all the way over here, like if I had another 10 right here, then we could show that, right? But we'll just go back to right there. Okay, so that's building face to building face, right? Now it's kind of ugly, right? You see everything underneath it, yeah? So that's not ideal. I think there's a way. So the way that I've used this best is I've actually come in and drawn in SketchUp. There might be a better way of doing it. Oh wait, I think it's a fill. Pattern fill. Anyway, the best way that I've found to do it is probably others. Look up some more stuff. But look, the nice thing is that this is actually a 1 to 100 section straight out of my model, right? So nice. So if I'm hand drawing it, I could print it and draw it, right? Because our model looks okay, but it's not great. I could probably make it better. And I saw some of your sections too. It'll look better if you draw it by hand, right? So, but you got a quick model you've made. Now you can cut all your sections out of it real quick, right? But the other thing you can do, this will be the last thing we're going to do, is I can actually come in and if I wanted to, I could draw, let's pretend I have a thing over here, right? I could come in here and I could actually, the neat thing is look, you can it actually recognizes the model as like different. It's like, so it's somewhat graphic, somewhat not. So like, I'm going to come through here and say that my slope over here does something like this, because I want underneath my section, I don't want to see all this stuff that's underground, right? I want my section to be clean. So we're going to do that. We're going to come here, there. Now it looks funny right now, but it's going to look better. Bear with me. There's that section line coming down to this point, to there, to there, to there, to there. All right, and then I can actually hold down the, oops, I'm holding down the red axis to bring it over to here, right there, to there, okay? Enter. Okay, isn't that great? Look at that. I knew you guys would like it. Just knew it. Yeah. So, but isn't that nice? So now this clean section that I can either diagram or and it's like really easy to convey sections and stuff. And you can do dimensions in here and everything. Like you can actually grab this dimension. And the cool thing is your dimensions will read from the model, right? So I don't have to go in there and type them up every time. It's wonderful, right? This guy, I click here to here. Boom, 7.14 meters, right? This thing, this little plaza wall thing is, oh, and see that didn't work, 0.08 meters. You have to make sure that it's actually selecting real things in the model, okay? That's where you'll run into some issues. Like this thing's accidentally selecting that form that I did. So that's, there you go. If it selects this guy that I just made, it's going to give you a wrong thing. But if you select stuff that's actually in the model, it's going to be good. So then, and then, you know, with this guy, you could do pattern fill. We could actually do a color, shape, style. You can come in and do a fill of what you want it to be gray, right? Like this. Because you don't want people looking at the bottom of your section. You want to see that awesome landscape up top, right? Okay. And then the neat thing is, I think I've said that 10 times, so who knows, right? You can actually come over here to scrapbook and it has some scale bars in there. Isn't that nice? It's lovely, right? I know. I thought so too. And then look, if you're doing this, you got a little spot elevation. You can come in here and give out these spot elevations. Woo-hoo. I know. I know. Program's cool. Okay. And then you just do file. Watch this. You can do save, right? Or export as a PDF. Or you can even export as a DWG. I have no idea what that does. But I'm assuming it exports it as a DWG, right? I'd be really curious to see how the line work comes out from your section. If it's clean enough to bring it into CAD, it'd be awesome. But mostly what I do is I export PDFs and then you save it somewhere, right? You could choose how nice it looks, how big you want it to be, all the pages or not. And then bam, just like that, you got a scaled section. All right, now, last thing. I don't even know why I say that. You guys just tell me when you want to stop. So file, watch this, insert. I'm going to do that same model, right? But watch this. I'm going to do it. So it's the same model. But below this, I want that nice site section there. But then instead of having this section again, oh, I'm going to bring this up to there. Okay. I'm going to select that. I'm going to go to my SketchUp model tab. I'm going to go, I like scene 1 for this, right? And it's going to bring in my scene 1. Right now, this might be a thing when I actually say preserve scale. So I can change this to show what I want. Yeah. Cool. And you can actually go in, it says like standard views. You can actually come in here and change the settings, like the effects and the styles of each scene. Isn't that nice? Without even having to go into the model again. Okay. Now, possibly last thing, I don't know. So you hit file save, right? I want to make sure you guys are getting your money's worth. Okay. Untitled layout. That's fine. So let's say I jump back over here. I meet with the client and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. But I hate Ruellia. Hate it. Always have. When I was a kid, I choked on Ruellia. I don't want it in there. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't like it either. So then I come in here, edges, right? I'm just going to say, you know what, sir? We're going to take all these out. No, there's faster ways to select it. But I'll be like, sir, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to take out most of these, but I really think that they're really nice. Whatever. But I make changes to the model, whatever the changes are, right? And then I go back to the scene. See, look at that. Ooh, a little bit of open space right under there. Hit save, right? I just hit save. Then I'm going to come back to this guy. It hasn't updated yet, right? So if I select this and I go to the SketchUp model, it's going to give me an error somewhere that it's not up to date because I've already messed with that model. So it's going to say, make sure I saved it. Now, if I go to File, Document Setup, I think it's Document Setup. Yes, under Document Setup, it says References, okay? This is how you tell if it's not up to date. Hard to see. I'm in References. It's red, yeah? Meaning it's error. It's not up to date. So I just click on it. See, it says status. You can't read it, but it says status out of date. I click on that and I just say update. Ready? Watch what happens below. You can see some of the Ruelia deleted, yeah? It's hard to see, but okay. Isn't that cool? Boom. So it's a pretty neat workflow, right? You can keep updating your model, and even if you do a save as of your model, you can actually go to that same thing, File, Document Setup, and you click on this, and it says relink, right? So if you have another file that you did a save as and it's a different name, you just relink it and pass it to that new file. And as long as it's the same geolocation, you didn't move the whole model around, all of your scenes are going to show up correctly. Yeah. Neat, huh? So that's layout for you. It's really good. Watch a couple of tutorials, especially you guys are about to graduate. If you're in a design build firm, like you might not have to take it all the way into CAD. You might have to build in SketchUp and then go back to CAD. Like that's what I do on a lot of my projects because we get really, really detailed. But I've also worked on some design build projects where I was like, hey, I want these stairs to look like this. Here's the wall, here's the height. And these guys were just building it, you know? So layout's key for that because you can cut a section, or even from the perspective, you can dimension it and say, this is how I want you to build it. Cool. All right. Any other questions? Keep them short because we should probably wrap up. Imagine if you had me all the time. All your social life would fall off. Like I don't see anybody. This guy makes us stay late every night. It's Friday night. It's 5:30. We just want to go home. It was a holiday yesterday. He's working us. Okay. How was that? Was that good? It's good? Okay. Any questions? Are we okay? We're good? All right, one more roaring applause for Trimble SketchUp, yeah? Okay, that was awesome.